See, designing the sports, you should know the sports itself. What way it is played, what are the rules, regulations. And then other aspect, very important aspect is the surfaces on which the specific sport is played. Third one, the dimensions. If dimensions are wrong, then you go wrong everywhere. One of the further aspect is spectators, their comforts. And then what way they will be comfortable to view the game. So the profile line of the people sitting, that is one of the aspect, and then off late is the security issue. So therefore the chairs are coming in the picture. So you have to have a proper aisles, design exit. So there is a mathematical calculation in case of commotion, how you can exit out so many people. So it is a kind of a complex issue, because you cannot just simply say the sports stadium could be designed by everyone and anybody. That's an aspect which I learned in the last 40 years. I myself played cricket, so it was the first job which Wankhede Stadium was offered to me by my professor then, late Professor Changadkar. And then I have fulfilled his dream those days, in 70s, early 70s. Madam Gandhi was the Prime Minister, and she had declared Asian Games in 1982. And in 1980, when Sanjay Gandhi was alive, he thought of having some good designer. And then job was given by competition to Sharad Das, in local architect from Delhi. But he had no experience. So naturally he came down to Mumbai, and then we formed the consortium. Our firm, Shashi Prabhu and Associate, and then it was originally Hadkar Prabhu and Associates, but now it's Sterling Consulting, Kamal Hadkar. And three of us jointly under JV, we worked on that project. It was a time scheduled project, in the sense there was no option, because the date was declared, and it was a task, to be very honest, because in those days even slip form shuttering was something novel thing. And Delhi, many people may not know that it is an adverse climate, especially in winter, where concrete doesn't set. So you have to apply heaters and whatnot. And Indira Gandhi Stadium, by dimension itself, is a monstrous thing. And it is designed in a way that there are 8 pylons, and that 8 pylons are supposed to take the entire load of the roof. And then, I'm not a structural engineer, but I am told that thrust going to every pylon was over 500 tons. So the pylons, in the terms of the floor numbers, I'll put it about 12 floor height, or the height of the pylons. There are 8 pylons. So it was a challenging job. Then there is a compression ring at the center, which is tied up with all these thrusts, and then ultimately you have to decenter that. So everything has to be framed and then timed in 2 years. Since the games was declared, we worked day and night, and then today it is standing there. The initial phase is very tough, because as I said that you have to show something, what is the past experience and so on, which somehow or other I overcome. And then I started my practice initially, and then the scale of the architects in those days was affordable. So of course the rupee had a value, because the first construction I did, and then I used to award the work on the square foot basis, and unbelievable, I afford first job at 28 rupees a square foot completed. Because today if you try to discuss with any young architect, you start wondering, what is this 28 rupees a square foot? You get complete building ready. And then people used to work, and then good quality, obviously. As I said, that Indira Gandhi Stadium, is a big benchmark. But before that, when I was a young boy, I got Wankhede Stadium to design. Being a young boy, I never knew the complexity in that, because we were fighting against Cricket Club of India, the Bribhawa Stadium, and that was a venue for all Test and international matches. Naturally, there was some kind of resistance and anger, what you can call it, and then they used to express to the Times of India, and one Mr. K. Prabhu was the editor in the sports, and then he used to write against me personally. And I was a being young man, I used to get depressed about what is this on. But Mr. Wankhede is Kevadia, and his name is also, the stadium name is also given, or the whole stadium has been named after him. But the same K.N. Prabhu came after the completion, when he was very senior, and touched my feet, and I said, he said, I'm sorry. I knew that you are a young man, but I was forced to write something against you. That was a confession. But the period which I had gone to the agony and then continuously a pressure and depression was horrendous, and then that's a worst possible experience. But thereafter, you see, for all architects, it is worth learning that if you work for a specific job where a time frame is the essence of the contract, and that was a Wankhede stadium because the match was declared and we were working, and it was completed in 11 months and some 23 days. It's a record. But thereafter what? Because I had limited staff, but however, to continue with the firm, you are looking after. And then I was nervous, and then suddenly somebody comes, again a godfather. That was nobody else but Balsaheb Thackeray. He came to Garware clubhouse, which was a different clubhouse, and then he had a lunch with me, and he said, what is that you are doing? I said, well, I have completed the stadium and looking out for a good job. Then he called up one of his senior Shivasainik, who was then the president of Thane Council, and he said, let us do the stadium in Thane. And this is where I got another opportunity to design a stadium. So Dadaji Kondle Stadium in Thane was designed by us and then timely completed. Then I kept on getting, stadia work, and then we got a stamp of that we design only sports complexes, which is not right. So I said, let us diversify into something. And then I thought healthcare, especially hospital design, should be the proper jobs. In the sense, it is a different kind of job. But how to design a hospital? I'm talking about 76, 77, when many architects had no clue about designing a hospital. Because hospitals were primarily designed by somebody, which are no kind of, which I understood after, so many designing hospitals, that it has a relation, interlayer, department, and the staff movement, different department, placement, dimensions, and everything. End of the, sterility and so on and so forth. But the first hospital, I tried and I got it, and then I got a help from a very senior doctor to design it, and then proudly said Dr. Gautam Sen is a senior, double FRCS, but we sat together and designed every aspect and room. Okay. And I got a first hospital in Thane, which is named after Gandhi, Indira Gandhi. And thereafter I started getting the inquiries about hospital. Then we did designing the hospital. It's a complex subject, but I take a pleasure in that. Myself, get into the planning aspect. Normally, other projects, when you grow to a size, then you don't look at it when you come to finality. But here, I right from the inception and then thinking, I get myself involved. What I'm coming at through all this experience today, I feel that yes, we are able to pick up any job. Not necessary hospitals, not necessary sports structures, not necessary club buildings, but anything come across. We are qualified to do so. That one-to-one touch, going to the actual board and then getting the design check, that is gone. Because what the children do, or the student do, or employees doing, or architects are doing, is not known to the people who are supposed to go through all these design aspects, etc. And then handwriting and then preparing a drawing by self, that is gone. So computer has given us the speed, computer has given the techniques, rendering techniques, planning. But what we used to do about 40 years back, physical drafting, used to get us involved into the job, and we used to know the mistakes. Today, copy paste is the best solution. And then people do blunders, in the sense the young architects. See, in India, there are very few architects, they do the engineering architecture, which we find in the other countries' architects, especially in USA, Germany. We say that these very interesting structures, they have been designed by the architects and also simultaneously engineered. So this, of course, slowly and gradually will definitely come in India when all these architects come to India and then try to have an association or jointly working with Indian architects. We prefer Indian because in case of anything going wrong, we should not be looking at the sky and then wait for somebody to deliver. So whoever may be the manufacturer, they come to India and then try to sell the product. I say, put up your factory in India, and then we want some kind of reliability in terms of something going wrong. The product is available and manufactured in India. And I always cite the example of Mercedes-Benz that's being manufactured in India, and when Far East we are selling from Chennai. So this is what in the field of architecture also I suggest this practice should be followed. So this is what population of Mumbai is going up. I don't know, people are giving the number of it is about 12 million and 30 million, but I'm a doubt because I was told that some of the shanties, people are sleep in the rotation. Accommodation issue, the sanitation is an issue. Though there are SRA schemes, they also require some kind of another component to support that, because you are supposed to give free accommodation to the people who are living in shanties. But again the question comes about, who is going to take the sellable component. All said and done, it is a matter of spending capacity of a person. And then the real estate in the city, it's developer who are realized that you cannot construct lavish apartments and then keep on waiting to sell. Because those who are staying in a good apartment, they don't want to move out. And therefore there is a saturation today in the real estate also, we see that. And then at the end of the day, we have to look at our water resources. We are bringing water all the way Tansa, Vaiterna by gravity. Somewhere we are pumping them, no doubt. But all this depends on the almighty rain. This year it didn't rain, so we started shouting, all swimming pools in the city, they are shut. How long we are going to sustain like this? Because city has limits. So again I go back to Nitinji Gadkari, where he said that third city has to be there. So one has to build the infrastructure and people will move. If there is a proper transportation system, people have to move. And then what is big thing, staying in a city where you spend every day more than an hour to travel. It's a complex issue. Basically, any cladding for that matter, right from ACP or for matter off-lit, ceramic, vitrified tiles or any other material, which is required for the protecting the building. And then I promote for the purpose that the life of the building should be really increased and extended. And we do it in Middle East. Of course, that area doesn't have that kind of rain. But Singapore gets heavy amount of rain and every day it rains. And the buildings are protected. If the buildings are not covered, they are at least painted every second year with elastomatic paint or whatever it is. So building don't leak. But here somehow the building has a profuse leakages. More than that, every apartment has air conditioning. People like it or not. But everybody is putting the air conditioner because of dehumidification. Humidity is high, the temperature is also high. Under these circumstances, we have to see that what's the optimum temperature required for the proper air conditioning. If you have some kind of insulation outside the building, you will get a better result. So there's a saving in the power, everything, all respect. This is where more than a decoration, it is a necessity. As I said, the building gets protected because you are not exposing your walls, your RCC structure, and you are covering with another material and there is a good gap. So the building will last definitely more. The advantage and disadvantage about that, people off late are going for vitrified tiles, cladding. Yes, change. But as far as aluminum is concerned, there is a flexibility to bend, curve, whatever it is, and then people use it. But what has happened, ordinary shopkeeper also started using the aluminum. So people is continuously saying that there is nothing like a charm. We try to do the shape. Now we started shaping the building, and we tried to curve and then molding the aluminum panels. It has its qualities, but what is important is the manufacture. And then manufacturer has to give the good product, but implementation of the project is very, very important. There has to be a qualified person, because this is what the basic issue ultimately boils down. But I am supporting this product for the basic reason, as I explained. Facade is not something a luxury, to be very honest. As I said, it can protect the building. There are certain buildings which are protected by granite cladding. There are some buildings which are done by stone. There are some buildings which are done by some other material. But cladding, as I said, is not only decoration. You can take your all kinds of plumbing lines and stacks through this gap available, and building doesn't look ugly. When you come to Mumbai city, people talk about why building in Delhi they look really good. But here building, when they are constructed with the plaster and no painting is done for years together, the city looks dull. City doesn't look vibrant. Yes, I went to Miami and then I went to this typical architecture, which is they are proud of. But the way they are maintaining, they are painting their structures, it is worth looking at. So something has to be done for the buildings, because city should look bright and then charming. Pure copper will be tough for us to use because of costing. But if there is a similar thing, I would not imitation, but a zinc type of thing, people should use it. As I said, people would like to have change. If you say simply provide, color or something like that, and especially silver color or slightly goldish color, that is applied to every building. Whereas zinc is something new. And if it is affordable in the sense price range, architects will fall for it. Because everybody would like to have a design. He is building to look beautiful and good. Why not? And the trend is going in. The young architects also, when they draw something, is different. The architects are not essentially good in the construction management. Construction management itself is a subject. For that matter, in USA, the construction managers, they are given the money even. They distribute, they write the checks. And the overall, they see that the cost never overruns. So right from the estimation, they come in the picture. If the estimation is not correctly done, and again come back to the architects, when you float the tender, you should be 100% ready with your drawings. Otherwise the project doesn't start. This is where project management interferes. And he goes through all the drawings prepared by the consultant, architects. And then he is supposed to take the flaws out, because he would definitely see, because ultimately end of the day, he has to control the cost. So if something is missing, he will bring it to the notice and better architect better provide. For that matter, in USA, the PMC, they do the detailing, for the detailing, to the micro detailing, and then find out. And then supervise the building. So there are different kind of tools available, and they monitor the project cost wise, progress wise, manpower wise, and they exactly know where the project is going. Because if the project is delayed, naturally the cost is going to incur more, because you have to pay for it. If you use the contrasting material and then striking, what is signage? Signage is to guide people, orient the people. If you go to the healthcare buildings, what is important is that people are in their own mood, in the sense somebody is serious, somebody is running, and then he hasn't got time. So we use the color coding, and then people go to the right place at the right time. So aluminum is a material which is available in different colors. For example, in healthcare, I want to design something very, very important zone. For example, theatre, etc. I might use red. And then in aluminum, it is possible to create a red. In the glass, it is not. We have to paint it. So in the signage, at least, we prefer aluminum in a big way. It's a complex subject because it has to be, though we try to do it in-house, it's not necessarily perfect because when you give a plan to the person who is expert in signages, he will count even the number of people going to the area, specific area. Accordingly, he will give the signages. Easy accessibility, height of the letter. All these issues have to be addressed correctly.